This one's from Josh. It says, we are on step 6 or 7 and are trying to save for a down payment on a house. We also have $90K in student debt. Does it make sense to turn down retirement contributions? This is a tough one, I know, but I also think it's relatable for some people because sometimes there you are in that situation, you're trying to think through it. So what can you say to them?
All right, this is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna take off the like analytical hat and I'm gonna put on like the behavioral hat right now. Personal finance is personal.
Yeah.
What that means is that the right answer for me might not be the same right answer for you, and the right answer for you might not be the same right answer for me. I think what you have to do, Josh, is you have to figure out, all right, what are our goals? What are our priorities? What are the things that matter the most to us? For a lot of folks, one of the things that matters the most to them is, hey, I don't want to work forever. One day I want to have the ability to step away from the workforce and I want to be able to retire and do what I want when I want on my own terms. Well, if that's a pretty high goal, then the things that you decide you do need to like work towards that goal. Other folks say, hey, I really have this goal. I want to own a home. And by the way, I'd like to own that home before I get to retirement so that I can establish roots and I can start a family and I can have a place of my own. Well, that's a goal. And if in your life, it makes more sense for you to prioritize that goal over some other goals that you have, that's not a bad thing. You just have to go into it with eyes wide open about the sacrifices you're making in order to do that. And then I'm just going to tie into sort of the third thing you said. If one of your goals is to be debt-free, you have to figure out how important is the debt-free goal to me and on what timeline. Is it so important that I'm debt-free as soon as possible, or do I just want to have a path and a plan to be debt-free at some point along my financial journey? And depending on where that goal falls in the hierarchy will determine how aggressively you're going to pursue that, how aggressively you're going to construct your strategy around debt repayment. So you have to think about all the dollars at your disposal, in terms of what will be the best use of this dollar towards the most important goal that I have. And you have to work down your goal list and up your resource list until you get those two to match.
Yeah, I would add a little bit to this in the fact that, look, I get it. $90,000 of student loan debt probably feels like and it is.
That's a lot of debt.
But first, let me get a few things to do. A little homework, some assignments. I want you to go to moneyguy.com/resources, download the wealth multiplier so you can see exactly what every dollar has the potential to become for you, because you're still, did Josh give us his age?
He did not.
Okay, so
saving for first-time home.
But I'm assuming under 45.
Sure.
And the reason I bring that up is that we've tried to, when we talk about, and by the way, it's in Millionaire Mission too. If you go to moneyguy.com/millionaire mission, you can see the book that's coming out where we talk about, I have a chapter on, it's step 3, where it's talking about high interest debt, is that you have to understand that what's the logic on what my money can do? It's an incremental decision of every dollar that I invest has the potential to become this. And the younger you are, the more potential it has, because you can be more aggressive, you have more time on your side. But as you get older and you probably start diversifying, that incremental decision, you have to pay attention to the interest rates you're paying. So that's why we tried to give you some details using historic facts. Now I realize we just came through an inflationary period. It has changed some of these things, but there are still some good rules of thumb to consider. If you're in your 20s, student loan debt that's under 6%, that's not high interest debt. If you're in your 30s, though, that number drops down to 5%.
Yep.
If you're in your 40s, it's 4%. Because I do want you to have that student loan debt paid off. That's why I said the 45 and under, yes, your money can earn more because you can take more risk. You can keep it invested for a longer period of time. For those that are 45 and over, now hopefully you've done the get wealthy behaviors, so it's now more about the stay wealthy behaviors, and we need to de-risk by paying off debt as fast as possible. But just don't get in a hurry, because debt crusaders, look, I'm all about paying off some debt, but there's a time and place after you get wealthy, especially on the low interest. And I try to walk people through, because that valuable resource of time, that ingredient that really gives your money that extra horsepower, that you can't get more of it. No matter how much you try, There's no way to get more time. And I'm just trying to make sure you balance that desire to get out of debt, but also maximize and get as wealthy and let you have as many options as possible as soon as possible.
That's great.